I gotta get me a bag, steady type of cash on my bro and that same shit. No, I don't fuck with no lame bitch. Can't even fuck on the same shit. I heard your shit in the swag. That shit is so sad, put in work at that basement. I charge you double.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of Others, and I'm back here with a new video. Welcome to We the World Deities. The reason why I laughed at the beginning of this is because when I started recording, I was doing real good, and then a fucking YouTube video on my own laptop literally just exploded with sound, and it kind of fucked up my whole jam. So there is that. But I wanted to apologize for not posting so long. Once again, the dynamic between me and King, Dark King, will be like that because I have my own first channel, and I don't think I'll ever get used to having a second channel because I have gotten used to making at least only like 2 series on my channel. So doing 3 is already like too much for me, but I'm working on other stuff as well, so I apologize. But I am here with a banger, and I am not going to disappoint you. This part is going to be dope because I'm going to include some of the best fighting scenes I can. And without any further ado, let's just get right into it. Welcome to the channel, and subscribe. Get us to 1K. We're super close, and thank you for your support. Let's recap what happened in the last part. Alright, let's recap. The last part started with Lee fighting Naruto and seeing the big difference between them. However, Naruto acknowledges Lee's talent, saying that he could have been even faster had he taken off his wigs. The two then part ways with no hard feelings, and Team 7 goes forward and they do the written test and pass before they go to the Forest of Death, where they are attacked by the paralyzing melody of Tayuya, one of the Sound 4, accompanied by Kidomaru, the archer. They attack Naruto, but Naruto breaks the freezing jutsu and scares them with his roar from afar, and when the team goes and finds them, they meet Sume and Fugaku, who had just beaten the other 2 Sound 4 and were alerted by Naruto's roar. After this, though, the team then continues getting scrolls and being the first ones to arrive at the founded destination, and Gaara's team follows. Days then pass until the preliminaries come, where Kiba fights Gaara, showing him that while he may not be Naruto, he is not to be underestimated, and neither is anyone from the Inuzuka clan. He defeats Gaara and passes, with Gaara being left out of the exam, and Hinata then fought Neji, and although she did not win, she managed to somehow handle him until Naruto intervened, stopping Neji from ruining her body. In fact, Naruto thanks Neji, pissing him off, but there is not much he can do about it. During his fight with Lee, when Naruto fights Lee finally takes off his weights, letting them crash to the ground, much to the shock of others, and Naruto fights Lee, and eventually Lee loses, almost ruining his body, and Guy and Tenzin worry as everyone is horrified by the state he is in, but Naruto makes him a shifter, and he heals immediately. Since that is the final match, the preliminaries are over, and the next match is picked out. But the difference is the final boss will be Naruto, so whoever makes it the farthest gets to fight him. Lee does reject the power of the shifter though, but Naruto respects it and he takes the power back. And after this is all fixed, Guy and Lee just leave, with Naruto leaving after receiving a mission from Hiruzen. But then Shisui shows up to report his mission at the sand, and while hiding it, his eyes are pretty bad right now and they are deteriorating in stability. He's barely seeing much. We begin this part with an Uchiha meeting. As Fugaku faces his fellow clansmen, he has a look of dread and sternness. "This isn't good, Itachi. You too?" Fugaku would say, and Itachi nods, as one of the Uchiha would then say, "I mean, we'll be fine though, right? I mean, we're still essential here, and there are a lot of us left." But the point stands. What are our future generations to do once this problem just keeps popping up, Fugaku would say. "Oh, why don't we just ask Naruto?" Everyone then turns to the Uchiha who said this, and with a nervous laugh, he then says, "I mean, you never know. Shifters have really high healing factors. They literally can't even get sick." This makes them start to mumble, and they think that he's right, and it could work, but Fugaku says that is not possible right now. Passing on the power to a major clan is an issue still being discussed. They may be even seen as revolters or simply trying to expand power. Shisui then says he's fine either way, and Itachi says the same. "I trust everyone will be able to carry on," Itachi would say, and Shisui says the next generation does always surpass the last. Face to black. We're gonna fade to black. I said that wrong. So we go to the Inuzuka compound where at their training ground, Kakashi transforms into a werewolf, and he faces the kids of the clans who do the same, and as they shift, Kakashi will say attack. Like Rabbit Beast, the kids then blitz him with attacks, but he deflects them all, and one of them would then come up and say, "I got you," and she'll be a girl as she uses immense speed, blitzing him and clawing at him at Kakashi's face, but he dodges it while doing it with ease so much that it shocks her. Nice try. He would then roar into the air, knocking her and all of them back, and when they crash, they get back up to see Kakashi turn to normal, and he would ask, "Now, what did we do wrong?" All the kids in annoyance then say Kakashi is not being fair. "How can he be this good? You just became a shifter. That's so unfair." "Well, we can learn together," Isn't it more fun that way, Kakashi would say. And as he says so with a shining smile, the kids all say fine, but only because he's convincing you. The girls don't have a crush on Kakashi or anything, but they do think that he's pretty. It's a superficial thing, you know, like how girls, like little girls, just want to admire a guy who's strong and, like, you know, Kakashi is a nice looking guy, but it's not any of that weird shit. It's just a cutesy little crush. They're kids. All right. So they continue training inside inside the compound, and inside his room, Naruto will be getting ready to head out with Sukatsu jumping up and down in his bed in excitement. Calm down. I'm sure Inari's dying to meet you too. A knock is then heard, and Naruto says to come in as a clan member, then slides the door open. Fugaku has come for a meeting. Oh yeah, sure, let's go, Naruto would say, and he follows the man with Sukatsu tagging along, and they go to the mirror room where Naruto sees Fugaku with Sume, and Sume then turns, saying, "Took you long enough." I didn't even take that long though, Naruto would say, as he would then sit down and say hi to Sume and Fugaku says the same to him. So, what's going on, Naruto would ask, and Fugaku says, is it possible to pass down the gift of your bite to help us? Oh, did the Sharingan start taking effect? So you know. Of course I do, Naruto would respond, but if you're asking what I think you are, then there's no problem. I can't permanently make you one of us, but I can shift you long enough to force you to heal. Fugaku was interested, asking, would that actually work? The shifting is made to ensure that its users are at full capacity, and as such, anything harmful is taken away. Poison, scars, that's why we don't get sick. Sumi would then say, but considering the effect Naruto has on all of us because he's the heir, if he tells you to do something, it has a hard demand behind it. You will do as he says, whether it is to get stronger, fight better, or heal. Then when can we start, Fugaku would ask. Naruto would then say, oh, I have a mission right now, but as soon as I get back, I can do it. I'm sorry about that. Fugaku, however, says, it's fine. I must go tell Hiruzen, so this won't be taken wrongly, but what is your mission? Naruto then gains a smile. We cut to him riding on Sukatsu at the speed of sound towards the land of waves. As Sukatsu reaches a body of water, with a leap, he flies over it like it's nothing, before then landing and getting back to running. Alright, we're almost there, Naruto would say. A few minutes later, as the two reach the bridge, Inari and Tazumi will be walking up on it. Mom, do you see that? Inari would ask, and Tazumi would then look forward, zeroing in on someone approaching. I think it's Naruto? Inari's eyes widen as with a smile he would then open up his arms waving for him, and Naruto then waits back with Sukatsu then barking, and when they reach them, Naruto gets off and Sukatsu runs to Inari, who he starts licking playfully. That means he missed you, Naruto would say. I know, Inari would say, and he would say hi to Sukatsu, of course. And Tazumi then says hello to Naruto, saying it's been a while, but did something happen? She would ask, and Naruto would say, I came here to look for some people. Sukatsu's here to keep an eye on things, will I go, but everything's fine. Are you looking for Zabuza? Inari would ask, and Naruto then nods, and then he says he will be back as he disappears. He sure is a busy child, Tazumi would think. At their hideout, Haku and Zabuza prepare to eat when they sense a shinobi and turn to see Naruto at their doorstep. Maybe you should put something up here, Naruto would say. Most do not live after arriving here, Haku says. What do you want, kid? Zabuza would ask, and Naruto would then walk in with an intimidating look, but it fades as he bows, asking, please, join our clan. What? Zabuza would say, and Naruto would then raise his head, saying, yes, I want your support. Haku then looks to Zabuza, who asks why he would want them. The Inuzuka don't need outsiders like us. It doesn't matter if you're an outsider. Kakashi joined us, and he's a lone man, you know. And Zabuza and Haku remember the transformation performed by Kakashi, and they have been wondering how that's even possible to begin with. Once you do, this is what you will become, Naruto would say, as he then grows sideburns and fur grows all over, as hair on his arms he grows hair on his arms, and his canines grow, they become fangs, his nails turn to claws, his muscles tense up as his eyes will shine red. A primordial feeling overtakes the two as they feel his spirit and pure presence. It's almost majestic and terrifying. What's the catch? Zabuza would ask, and Naruto would then say, oh, you just have to help the lead from time to time. Time to time? You're not making this move, Haku would ask, and Naruto would say, no, I mean, you love this land, right? Just keep protecting it. And the people. It also helps us expand, so we get something out of it. And you get money. Okay, then I'm in, Zabuza would say instantly, and Haku then says the same because Zabuza did, and Naruto would then smile, asking for their arms. As they reach out, Naruto would then jab into their forearms with one claw, and as he pulls the claw back out, a mark would then grow where he stabbed, and instantly their bodies gain more muscles. They transform, gaining fur and animosity. Naruto once again sees what happened with Kakashi happened to Haku. While Zabuza's eyes go yellow, his go blue. This is insane, I can feel everything, Haku would say. How do you stop it? Naruto's eyes then shine red as he commands them to stop transforming so they go back to normal, being slightly exhausted because they're not used to transformations. They're not hurt, they're just exhausted. They simply are overwhelmed by the huge amount of stimulus. Naruto then transforms back to normal, saying, seems like there are more people who are dead to the transformations. It's not the same for everyone. And he then thought, what do the eyes being blue mean though? Zabuza would then say, Jesus, I think I just heard a literal pin drop. You'll get used to it, Naruto would say. You guys are gonna be pretty fine, you're strong. And Zabuza would then say, fine, just don't make us do any weird stuff. Just what do you think of me? Naruto would ask. And Zabuza then reverts his eyes, making Haku chuckle, as Naruto would then say, regardless, he hopes that they can get along. Now, let's get some training in. It took Kakashi about a week to get used to it. Let's see how you do. Back at the Konoha village, Sasuke would be practicing taijutsu with Kiba's sister, who agreed to help him out. However, every attack he throws is dodged with a smile, as Hana then says, you don't have to fight me up front, you know. Taijutsu is our forte. She then just catches a punch from him and throws him away, with him barely landing, as he would then slam flat on his back. Dang it! At least transform, Sasuke would yell, and Hana would say, well, I used Spirit Break by accident, so no, it's not good for the mental health of people, even if you're a ninja. Experiencing it too much might make you overly docile. Now Sasuke would then sit up and he says, well, Kiba's gonna use it, so what's the difference? Hana would then say, children, unlike Naruto and the adults like us, can't break that threshold yet, but one of our targets had to pay that price because we didn't know back then. Really? Sasuke would say. What happened to them? She died of shock, Hana would say, and Sasuke would say, way to bring down the mood. Well, you asked. Sasuke, however, says that he's joking and says he lets it continue. I think I'm onto a discovery here. Hana would then say, good, then I'll take it up a notch. Time skip 3 weeks later. Haku and Zabuza have become part of the Inuzuka clan and can transform easily like Kakashi, and because of their chakra output having been increased, Haku's Ice Senbon can now form into full blades and bigger sizes, and he can make them into bigger constructs. He has evolved in general, and his speed is past that of the speed of sound, easily reaching into that of the speed of light. Zabuza's chakra also rises, so his jutsu are so strong that just doing one-handed hand sign jutsu can create like jutsus that are as big and like powerful as Kage level jutsus. And Hiruzen was happy. But then something more important was about to begin, helping Itachi and Shisui. At the house of Hiruzen, Fugaku would show up with Itachi and Kagami would come with Shisui, and Itachi and Shisui would stand in front of Naruto, who pops out a claw on each hand. Are you ready? Itachi and Shisui would then nod, with Naruto digging his claw into their arms, and instantly the two will feel pain in their heads. This makes them rip their arms away while taking out Naruto's claws out of their arms, and they fall to the floor in agony. Kagami would run to Shisui and Fugaku to Itachi. Kagami would then say, Shisui, maybe we shouldn't have done this. Naruto would then say, no, they're okay. The two fathers are confused, asking if he's being serious because they look like they're in immense pain, but Naruto would nod, just as Itachi would slowly get up as Shisui does the same, and they gain fur, claws, and become shifters as their eyes change, becoming eternal Mangekyou, but with a purple tint, because their shifter eyes were supposed to be blue. They almost resemble the Rinnegan, Hiruzen would think. Shisui would then say, the pain is disappearing. I guess the healing factor must have targeted the source of the trouble instantly. Naruto would then say, yeah, well, you're alive now. I think we just need to let it set in and we should be good. Kagami would then say, thank you, Naruto, as he would then bow, and Naruto says it's really not a big deal. We will have to tell the others later, but how do you feel? I always wondered how it would feel for an Uchiha. And Itachi and Shisui would then say, I can feel everything, and it is true. And Shisui would say, my eyes are overwhelmed. Maybe this is why Kakashi ran rampant. He must have let the beast take control. You need to start experimenting with this stuff, Naruto thought. Time skip 1 more week. Itachi and Shisui keep their eternal Mangekyou, but lose their shifter powers. The council is told about this development, and as they hear this, they're kind of fine with it. And the Uchiha are happy, and they will not be allowed to go blind anymore, so they have started focusing on evolving as fast as possible. Before, they were afraid of doing it, because if they train and they went to that stage, they would lose their eyes faster and just become, well, a cripple in a way, disabled, because being blind isn't being disabled. Okay, never mind, I'm not going to get into topics like that on my channel, hell no. Our channel, I'm not used to it. The point is, they're going to try harder now, because whenever they evolve to that point, they can just be bitten by Naruto and get OP as fuck. So everyone is evolving as fast as possible, especially Sasuke, who is about to try a new theory by combining the Roar/Spirit Break Jutsu with his Sharingan, and see, he's going to create a reaction of sorts, you'll see. The day of the match comes as people from different villages gather, that being from the cloud, the sand, and the stone. Onoki, A, and the Kazekage arrive, and they sit in the stands together with Hiruzen, and they take off their hats and watch as the kids line up down below, and their people cheer for the matches coming up. A would then say, this better be worthwhile, Hiruzen. I didn't ask you to come, Hiruzen would say, and A would say, I mean, the Inuzuka clan better be as amazing as I heard. Onoki would then say, it's an over-exaggeration, don't expect too much from children. The Kazekage simply stays silent, however, but Hiruzen does as well, as with a grin, he knows that these old fools will be shaking in their boots when the fight finally begins. The Proctor then lines up everyone and explains the rules. Naruto will be your final challenger. He will be up there, waiting for the victor. He points to the side of the arena where Naruto would sit, waiting with Sukatsu, and Sasuke would smile, saying, he looks like a final boss or something. Fun. Hiruzen at this point rises as his voice, he rises out of his chair as his loud voice will calm down the cheering crowd, and he would say, okay, today we not only have people from our village, but from other nations. I caution restraint, but we should familiarize with one another and enjoy the matches. Also, a barrier will be erected to protect you as usual. So, let's begin. He thinks we need a barrier from kids, people of the cloud be saying, and the others think it as well, and except for, of course, the Leaf, who, instead of saying anything, much like Hiruzen, just wait for them to realize that even with the barrier, they will feel it. And you know what I'm talking about, that roar. Everyone then jumps away, leaving Sasuke and Kiba with a transparent barrier being erected by Kakashi, Asuma Kurenai, and Itachi. Go wild as you want, Hiruzen would say. Kiba, hearing this, would scream as he transforms, and instantly the Kage and the newcomers to the village feel the sense of overwhelming fear overtake them. Genjutsu? Onoki would ask as he looks at himself, and he is shaking, and he asks how this is possible, and how Hiruzen seems to be able to stand this, because aside from the others, the Leaf citizens are barely affected because they have a trick that they have learned from the Inuzuka. When they focus on the fact that the roar is not aimed at them, because they're all in the Leaf, they're part of Naruto's pack, they're all friends, they're in that way, so they're not mentally incapacitated, but they do still feel that fear. That's how they control themselves. Kiba then stops roaring, and he has transformed, amazing the Kage and newcomers, and Sasuke activates his Sharingan. As Akamaru would then shift as well, the three would then disappear into a blur and rush at each other, and their clash causes a massive shockwave. Sasuke is blown back as he then looks forward, and after he lands, Akamaru comes at him with a bite, but he barely dodges it before then spin kicking him across the face. Akamaru is then blown away, but Kiba already prepares another attack as he gets on all fours. Wind Fang! As he yells this, he screams and creates a vortex of wind combined with his roar, and Sasuke is caught up in it as he's then spat out, being covered with blood and cuts. Fugaku clenches his fist in anxiousness when Mikoto would then say, "It's okay, he must have something planned." Luckily, Sasuke can still regain consciousness because he has trained with Naruto, so he shrugs this off as he will then land and instantly blitzes Kiba back, grabbing his face and kneeing it, causing his nose to burst with blood. "Don't get ahead of yourself," Sasuke would say, as he would then land, and Kiba then kicks him in the face, but Sasuke doesn't back off, and he punches him back, and they go back and forth. It's quite amazing, and everyone doesn't know who's gonna win, and they're really tense, they're not stepping back at all, they're just standing in the same place, throwing blows. The Kages even are on edge, being shocked as they're still shaking from the roar and the pure power of these kids, and out of anger, Abe would then grab his own arm to stop it because he just doesn't want to shake, but it just doesn't work. "I underestimated your village," Abe would say. "You are forgiven," Hiruzen would say, as he would then laugh, and the Kazekage would then say, "He's the one who beat my child." And Hiruzen would nod, and the Kazekage would say, "I can see why." After clashing again, the two are blown back, and Akamaru is about to get back into the fight, but Kiba says, "No, I want to do this." Akamaru then backs away, and Kiba would breathe in before roaring, making Sasuke just buckle under the weight of all that pressure, but he hangs on as the roar would echo out, making everyone not only get more tense, but also more scared. And as Kiba roars, he approaches them with an intimidating air, but Sasuke resists it despite being in absolute fear. This, however, was also part of his plan. "If it fails, then that's too bad, but this could still work. Take it in. That fear. Use it. Sasuke Uchiha." As Kiba stands right above and kneeling Sasuke, his roar comes to a stop, and he starts breathing heavily. "I'm winning this one. Wow, it's just one of their kids, and he's this strong? Then how strong is the Heir?" Sukatsu then barks at Naruto and he says, "No, he'll be fine. He's Sasuke. He's got to have something up his sleeve." Kiba then raises his hand and his muscles tense up as he goes to strike at Sasuke to end the fight, but what Sasuke wanted to happen did, as when he raises his head, Kiba is stunned to see the Mangekyo Sharingan, and instantly all the Uchiha and Inuzuka notice it as well. "Impossible," Fugaku would say, as Kiba then strikes down with his claws, but this time, the Susanoo ribcage would form, bouncing his claws off, and he is then blown back, leaving everyone shocked at what's going on. Onoki then jumps out of his chair. "Susanoo? But how?" By the way, the Kage haven't been told of the Mangekyo thing yet, but they will be soon. Kiba then yells for Akamaru to back him up, saying, "I didn't think you were going to do something like this." Sasuke would then say, "Yeah, well, I wasn't going to stay behind for long, you know?" Akamaru and Kiba then transform into their full beast forms, looking as if they were half wolf, half human, before then charging together and creating a massive fang over fang, where Sasuke meets with the Susanoo arm punch, and as they clash, they are both sent flying into the arena walls, causing everything to shake and leaving the crowd wondering what's going to happen. As the dust clears and they look forward, they see that the three are out cold on the ground, and the proctor begins to count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one. Neither one of them gets up, leaving everyone astounded in this being a tie. And quickly Fugaku jumps down to his son, and Sume does the same for Kiba, who shifts back to normal, and Nakamura does as well. He's healing slower than usual. They both are, Sume thought, and Fugaku would then think, how did he do it? While aware of how big of a deal it is for Sasuke to suddenly awaken the Mangekyo, they need to get into a hospital, because unlike Kiba, who will heal in just one day, he's going to need some medical attention, and his eyes are also bleeding. After this, the crowd is kind of just impressed, and the other nations realize that this is why the Hidden Leaf is definitely, like, contestant for strongest. And if they can do this, then it's just insane now how strong their adults could be. And if their kids are this strong, you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to suck their dicks or anything, but I made their clans really OP in this one. Okay, so the next fight proceed. Tamari fights Shikamaru, who beats her, but he forfeits, and you know, he's out of chakra. He's gonna do that. Neji then fought Shino and won after a long fight, and after that, Neji fought Tamari, who he beats with relative ease, and because his speed surpasses the activation of her Winjutsu. Then it came down to Naruto and Neji, and as they step into the ring, Hiyashi is more nervous than he has ever been in a while. How we compare to the Inuzuka? I want to at least see it, Hiyashi thought. So that's the kid, huh? Now he's apparently the strongest in this village. Isn't he like 13? Naruto then cracks his neck saying, so, I find it fair to say that you rather finish us off with one blow, yes? You read my mind, Neji would say. And the two would then get in a stance, as Naruto then says, just for this occasion, he will transform. And this puts everyone on edge, as Naruto's hair would then grow out with his eyes changing color to match his crimson hair. And he shifts, and there's a complete difference between him and Kiba. He didn't even roar, and I'm shaking. What the hell are they made of? Neji cannot help but shake as he wonders how Neji even managed to attack Naruto. But Naruto would then pull his hand back, and then he pops out a claw, and Neji would then ready an attack, and they would palm strike the air, with Neji releasing a wind palm and Naruto releasing a claw strike, and instantly Neji's wind palm is dispersed as he is sent flying before exploding with claw marks that gash through the arena walls behind him, leaving everyone's jaws dropping. As Neji falls, he is out cold instantly, and the medics come out, with the crowd realizing why he's considered the strongest. That's enough. Fight me next. Everyone hears this as from above, the Raikage lands down below, much to the surprise of everyone, obviously, and he explodes with lightning. The Raikage, Naruto would say, and all the ninja are getting ready to attack because they think this might be like some plan to, a kind of declaration of war against the Leaf, when Hiruzen would then say to stop. Let him continue. He needs to be properly tested. Fighting the Raikage? Is he insane? Or is he just arrogant? Would then explode with his lightning cloak as he stares down Naruto, who gets in the fighting form. Will you not call over your partner? Would ask. No offense, but I don't really need it, Naruto would say, and would think he said the same thing, as he would then rush Naruto with the lariat, only for Naruto to sway back just as A's arm barely passes by his face, but then he slams a fast uppercut into his jaw, causing him to spew blood up into the air and shocking everyone. He's strong and fast. Even Minato can pack this much of a punch, thought. And then the people of the cloud are shocked, having seen the Raikage already been injured, but regains composure and attacks with a barrage of attacks and kicks to the point where the two can barely be even seen. But soon is punched once again and sent flying towards the arena walls, but Naruto appears right above him in the blink of an eye, and axe kicks him right to the ground, causing a massive crack that would spread, reaching the walls of the arena that were literally on the verge of breaking. Impossible. Naruto would then land, and he says, man, maybe I should have forfeited. This doesn't exactly look good for appearances. He would then say this as the dust clears to reveal a knocked out on the ground. He beat a Kage! Naruto would then slowly walk up to and tap him on the head, and just that little gesture shocked his senses to his core as he would then wake up, regaining consciousness. Wait, what? Don't tell me Sorry, you lost, sir, Naruto would say. And then he holds his hand out, and would be shocked at this happening, but in a weird twist, he does take Naruto's hand and gets up. How old are you again? Would ask. 13, sir. He laughs at this out of nowhere and admits he lost verbally, and he says, I shouldn't have underestimated you so much as expected of Minato's son. Oh yeah, I forgot. He's the fourth kid, right? Yeah, I forgot about that. They look kind of similar. I guess he got the red hair from his mother. And then after this, then grabs Naruto's arm and raises into the air, declaring him the winner himself, showing a bit of humility. And that is where I'm going to end this part. Welcome to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. By the way, I know that the audio might have sounded weird as fuck, so tell me down below what you actually think. Should I keep the audio or no? Because I might just revert back to how it was, because I'm trying to get rid of the static background and noise. So I don't know how it sounds, but please tell me. To me, it sounds really annoying, but I just want to hear your opinion. I might do the same thing for my channel because I recorded with my microphone, which I'm using for this part in my latest video on my channel, but I don't know. So tell me, stay safe, do go to school, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Sorry for being gone for so long, but I am back. Also, sorry about the background noise. Of course, you're hearing it. My uncle just came home. All right, see ya.